I forgot to mention it. Hello and welcome to the Lost Rewatch. The Lost Rewatch continues. We're moving through season 3, pretty good clip. We have the cost of living and I Do, and I'm joined by Joel and Karen. How's it going?
It's going.
It is, yes, that is accurate. We're inside. That's where we're supposed to be, right?
Yeah, I'm quarantined by myself. I'm all by myself in this room right here.
I quarantined my kids out there, so I'm in here by myself.
I'm just always in this spot. This is just my permanent spot.
I don't know about your neighborhood, but our neighborhood, I didn't know that many kids lived on the street. Our street, there's like 50 kids out here. And I'm like first I go, should they all be that close together? And I go, where did they all come from?
I thought you had a homeless problem.
No,
I didn't know we had so many kids living on the street.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the way it sounded, but it's just one of those things. I guess kids are less susceptible to catching it, but I don't know. Yeah,
but still, as long as they don't go on your lawn.
No, they're on my lawn. My wife's. I go, why bother? It's dormant right now anyway. They can do what they want, but it's pollen season too. So you got that pollen flying all over the place. To me, that's probably worse than the virus.
It's so bad down here. So if you hear me sniffling, that's it. It's just pollen.
Yeah.
It's so bad, so thick and horrible. And, dropping, Zyrtec and all of this other fun stuff, but still, it's horrible. So I can't even go outside really. And I go outside for a few minutes just to have a little bit of sunlight at least.
Right.
But oh my God, you can't breathe out there. It's horrible.
But these kids are playing in it. It's all covered on the cars, but I'm not their parents or grandparents. It's not my job to raise their kids, right?
That's true.
But we're here to talk about Lost, and I thought we had 2 pretty good episodes today. Sad one.
How do we share this?
Just click the link that I sent you.
One that you sent me. Okay, I didn't know if that was just to get into this chat. Okay, sorry.
Wait,
carry on.
That probably it. Well, no, because I'd have to add them. So,
all right, we got live comments are on though, so at least if somebody does pop on, we can see. Make sure you click on your live comments section on the right side, on the right up side.
I know this is admin, but is this going to your YouTube channel? Is that where?
Yeah, it's where it's going to the YouTube channel. Okay. I tweeted something out earlier with I put you in the tweet. Just retweet that, and that'll get them to the YouTube channel, which then will get them to the. They can join here. I forgot if I send this out, I'm only allowed to have 6 people on here. We'll probably get more than 6.
I did spread the word earlier today because I did a Facebook Live, kind of hanging out with people and stuff. So
yeah, I saw that. Did that go pretty?
Jump on over. Yeah, it was
Did that
fun.
go pretty good?
Yeah, it was fun. Just a little distraction from the day, and everybody's home, so
yeah.
Just figure let's chat. But I told him come on over and join us for Lost tonight. So we'll
has some good news for a change. Something positive. Something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This will end. At some point, we just have to do what we have to do now, and but it will pass. I don't know how long, but it will.
It's crazy. It's crazy and sad at the same time.
It is.
Well, you guys want to start with the cost of living?
Sure.
This episode, I forgot. When I first started doing this rewatch, I forgot Echo dies early on in season 3. For some reason, I thought he went longer than that.
It seems like overall he had a much longer run than he actually did in the show.
Right.
Yeah, and he seemed like such an integral part.
And I knew it was coming. It wasn't I think it wasn't a secret that he was going to be eventually killed off because it had leaked out. But it's still sad. It's still sad.
He wanted out. Yeah, he wanted out of his contract. So, but Echo as a character is a great character.
Yeah.
A great presence. A great. I loved his character. I wish he would have stuck around for a while longer. But the island's not cut out for everybody, I guess.
No.
I always wondered where he would have been in the ultimate, one is light, one is dark role of the show. I wonder if he would have ended up being, if it would have ended up being like Man and Echo instead of Man and Locke later on.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah. Again, it's such an important character and a character I think everybody loves. I don't know anybody that doesn't like or didn't like Echo.
Yeah, I loved Echo's character. I loved I love this episode. I love the visual of this episode before we get into the actual episode itself, but this episode was shot so differently for us because and was shown to us differently that the flashes we were specifically we saw that they were tied into him literally being in REM's sleep is when he was having his flashes specifically. But the vibrant color of red, the whole episode for when it's Echo's sections are washed in red. And I thought that was fantastic. And it was very dreamlike. And I loved all of that visual.
Did you take those as dreams then, as opposed to flashbacks?
Well, they're showing him specifically that what has going on in his consciousness at most of those points he's in REM sleep.
So as opposed to like most of the flashbacks are just like something that pertains to what's going on with the character.
Right.
This is like literally what the guy's thinking or thinking of. Okay.
So I thought that was a pretty cool little cue to take. All right, now I'm going to pay attention to this in that regard. We're seeing he's sleeping, he's knocked out, he's unconscious, he's this, and that's when those things are happening. And all of his flashes of consciousness are happening washed in red, and I thought it was great.
Well, you mentioned red, and I remember when this episode aired, it was a big deal when he chases after Yemi and finds him in that field with all those flowers.
Yes,
and people are like going, "What are those flowers?" I mean, it was a big deal at the time.
I don't know how you say those flowers, either bromeliads or bromeliads, however you say that one. But those were those flowers there. But the key color of this is red. And again, when I kind of detailed episodes in Lost, I would bring up certain things about whether it be color or something. And red is not just the color of danger, stop, but it's also the color of life and living. And this episode is called The Cost of Living. So.
Okay. So do we believe that Yemi was the smoke monster had taken over Yemi's body?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. The only question that I had when watching it was, is this the first time the smoke monsters ever appeared as multiple people? Or was that just a hallucination, you think? When Echo was like going against all the guys from the plane, or I mean, it was the guys that he killed in the church.
Yeah, I think
when
that was
they
more
appeared in the woods.
That was probably more Echo. Yeah,
consciousness thing where and I also kind of think that although we see the smoke monster and we see Yemi, there's still I still do not commit to them being one and the same because that's me. I got to play that way, you know.
Well, Yemi's body is gone.
Right. So, but
that's not the first time we've seen Yemi on the island, right?
No.
Well, he's had him in his dreams before because when we had, we've had episodes before. It was not flashes before your eyes, but a couple episodes prior.
The one with the church where he was like doing the.
He dreams, and he dreams of Yemi, and when and also the funny thing is, I will bring this up because it's crossed over in this regard. Locke dreams of Yemi or dreams of being Yemi. So for me, again, how are we slicing Yemi? How are we slicing him? He's Echo's brother, but he is connected to what most feel is the smoke monster, and then also connected to Locke. So these three beings seem to be tied together.
Well, it's like when he's in his tent and it catches on fire.
Yes. Because
he sees Yemi. I know a lot of people at the time thought that was a smoke monster because smoke, fire, all that different stuff. And then, I mean, I when this episode was going on, I go, oh, I remember that theory. Oh, I remember that theory. Yeah. So a lot of it was coming back to me at the time, but I want to believe that. And
it could be. I'm not saying that I'm discounting that. I'm just saying, again, I like to purposely keep my option open about what perception is and where is it coming from, whether it's a dream, whether it's some sort of other conscious level type of situation. So,
well, there's really no wrong answer for this one, which is great.
Exactly.
I always assumed it was the smoke monster. I mean, if that counts for anything, that was just always the logical assumption. But yeah, if you break it down more, I can see where you're coming from.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just these added layers to it that make me say, okay, am I just going to blanket everybody into anything else that we saw on the island as far as another person as the smoke monster? Because by the time you guys get to talk about like Viterno and the later episodes in season 6, there's a part that the smoke monster presents itself to Richard Albert back in the old time, but yet there is a complete separation of where his wife is to where you hear the monster outside. So it kind of can't be the same thing. So there's times that I question smoke monster and an entity. So that's just me being crazy.
Maybe it was just half the smoke monster and the other half was outside making the noise. I'm just saying that it's possible with all of these supernatural element of it, it's weird to kind of draw the line there to go, well, it can't possibly be in two places at once, but it can turn into any other people.
Maybe. No, but maybe it is in two places at once. But it could, right. Are you two people at once? Again, I just don't discount it for this because I know that we saw that like John Locke actually dreamt.
Oh, yeah.
That he was Yemi, not that he dreamt of Yemi, that he was where Yemi was. So I just kind of, that just sticks in my head. So that's what.
So was that the island?
The island's magic.
Yeah, was that the island telling John that he was Yemi and when he dreamed? Because I remember when that scene, you think it's Echo.
Right.
It turns out to be John.
Right, John. And he says, I dreamed and I saw Yemi, and then I was you, or I was this, or I was that, so it's the connection of him, Echo, and Yemi together.
Plus, he wouldn't know what Yemi looked like, John, because John never saw Yemi.
No, but he's right. Doesn't he say, I saw your brother? Because but he does say, I think that I'm going to paraphrase because now I got this episode in my head, so I'm going to get jumbled up. Either he says, I was dreaming, and I was not that he was Yemi, but I was you. So, but the three of those beings are tied together somehow.
Right.
So again, we go to Flashes Before Your Eyes when he does dream of Echo and thinking he has to save him and those things. So that connection to the three of them has already been established. So I don't know. I'm crazy.
And between the two episodes, this flashback I really enjoyed.
Yes.
I thought it was really well done. It really, for Echo, knowing going into this episode that Echo is this is it. This is it. I think they did a great job of wrapping up his character.
Yes.
And making us,
and giving him a reason to not repent. You know what I mean? With all the stuff they showed in the flashback, it was like, yeah, no, he feels it's in a way justifies everything that happened. At least in his life, the stuff they showed us.
Well, yeah.
To him, he wasn't being sinful or he was being his authentic self. He was being the hand he got dealt. This is what I had to do to survive. And whatever it had to be to get it. I mean, he did things to save his brother. He killed somebody to save his brother, not to just kill somebody. He killed those, the militia because they were harming the church and taking away vaccines from people who needed them. So justified, but just dealing with what he had to deal with for the greater good. Maybe that's a better way to say
he took action as opposed to just being like a pacifist and letting whatever. Yeah. Well, this is just a situation where we just give these people our medicine.
Yes. Yes.
The only problem is the woman, like I didn't write down her name. She said, basically you could have made it worse. So at least they were giving us 20%. The next guy might not give us anything.
Right.
And you're leaving. So it's that, did he do the right thing? Did he do the wrong thing? I mean, obviously,
it would have, yeah. If he stayed, I think it would have been a better option. But yeah, him leaving, who knows? Yeah, maybe they came back the next week and
said, okay, you get nothing. We're going to take it all because they shot that one woman. He shot that one woman and just cold blood. Sad situation, but I like, and the two kids that played young Yemi and Echo are great actors. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, fantastic. Yep.
But then we also have a side story with Ben and Jack.
Yes.
And then Jack, he wants Jack to go on a walk, and he goes, "You got to change your clothes and all that stuff." And then we find out it's Colleen's funeral.
I was going to say, I forgot that that's what it was leading to, but I was like, why are they putting on Jacob shirts?
But yeah, it was kind of sad, except you have the guy with the gun there to keep Jack, I guess, in line at the funeral.
Yeah, I had a hard time. I'm usually pretty empathetic, but I had a hard time feeling bad for that Pickett guy. And
yeah.
Yeah. And then especially once I found out what he became in Breaking Bad.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's hard to have. Go ahead.
No, that's true. I mean, that's what I thought. Now when I see him now in the episodes of Lost, I'm like, oh God, the dude in Breaking Bad, you know. But this is where we discover, or that it comes to light that Jack has discovered that Ben has this aggressive tumor. So now
Ben's not happy about that.
He's not. But here again, your first thought is, well, this is the island. How does he have a tumor? So that was kind of bizarre to see.
Well, that's part of his bitterness later on.
Yeah.
You know, the island heals people. You know, it healed Rose, healed Locke, several other people, but no, it gave Ben a tumor. It said, no, yes. You're a bad guy.
Yeah, it's one of those things that at the time it felt like it's just opening another mystery of like, well, now why is this an exception to that rule? But it makes me wonder if at the time I was thinking, oh, well, he's a bad guy, so it was doing it to him. But I can't really recall if that's what I was thinking around that when this aired.
No, but the island did give him a spinal surgeon.
Fell from the sky.
It gave him a sporting chance, I guess.
Yeah. What about me, Jacob? I gave you a spinal surgeon.
Yeah. So back off.
Right.
Yeah.
Jack fell from the sky, and
he did.
And if there's no other reason he would have fallen from the sky unless it was to help Ben. So
what I like most about it, because in that scene, Ben is obviously shocked that Jack knows, and of course Michael Emerson's a fantastic actor, and you can see in his face is like. He doesn't like to. He likes to control every situation.
Yes.
And he has vast knowledge of these. You know, he knows about Jack and his wife. He knows about. They have information on all the Losties, and when he gets sidetracked like that, he's like, because even at the funeral he goes, why did he tell Juliet? Why did you just tell Jack? He goes, I didn't. You did.
Yeah. Right. You just told him. Yep. Yeah. So,
Jack is stubborn. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all. That Jack is stubborn. He don't care that Ben is sick and has something. Right. It's like, oh, you're on your own.
I got caught up on that's why Jack. Do you really think that's why Jack was brought to the island to save Ben? Like, do you think that's the bigger picture?
No. I'm just saying that could possibly happen. I don't know.
It'd be kind of interesting if that was the reason. No? And then
they never explored it. I mean, that's what Ben believes.
Right. Ben believes that. That's all that matters as far as Ben's universe is Ben believes that. Here's this thing, and this plane falls out of the sky, and here's my savior. Jack is going to save me. So
a spinal surgeon. I mean, I wouldn't get that kind of luck.
How lucky could you get?
Yeah, I'd get like a butcher or something like that. It's nothing against butchers, but I wouldn't want them operating.
Somebody's got to do something with the hogs, the boar.
That's true. I just thought it was great acting by both Matthew Fox and Emerson. I just thought it was just a great scene. But then he says, I like how Jack says, well, I didn't say I was going to operate on you.
Right.
I was going to do it. Yeah,
I don't trust you. I don't care. He goes, and what did Emerson say? Or I'm sorry, Ben say, he said something about, he'll be disappointed. He goes, well, it's only going to be a week. So
you won't be disappointed for very long.
Right. Yeah. Some great lines in that scene, and it was fun to see Jack having the upper hand, because they in most of the time over there they don't have the upper hand. He's doing his pull-ups and everything else like that. But when they want to talk about too, how when they're going to look for Echo, they can't find him. They said, and John knows where he's going because of what Charlie said. He talked about his brother. So when they're going, he asked Nikki and Paulo and Hurley. He goes, You guys ready to go? Well, usually Jack doesn't let us go. Well, this is different. I'm in
not
charge.
Jack. I'm not Jack. He
Right.
says. Yeah.
Now, who has the right approach? You let everybody go, or you control who goes, because you could have someone coming along that, like Kate it was the hunting party where Kate wasn't allowed to go, and she went and got kidnapped and screwed the whole thing up. So do you want to have control of who's going and who's not going?
It almost is like, okay, well, if you want to go, then come on, as opposed to like forcing someone to stay behind that really wants to go, like they did with Kate. It might be the better approach. I mean, as far as I know, nobody really died on it.
No,
decided to go with.
Well, eventually it led to death, right? Because Michael came back and killed Ana Lucia and Libby, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't an optional in that trek, though. He was like, "I'm going. Who's coming with me?" Wasn't he?
Well, no, he was going to rescue. They were going to rescue Michael, weren't they?
They wanted to go get Michael and bring him back.
Right.
Like they felt Michael should not go on his own to go find Walt. Okay, so so
that's an opposite thing. It's like they're forcing someone to come back with them as opposed to not allowing somebody to go with them.
And that's why in that episode that we're talking about where Michael leaves and they're all like, well, we're going to go get him and bring him back. That's when Locke says, well, who are we to tell somebody that they have to come back? We can't tell people what to do. And that was at that point. So it's a managerial call.
It's one of those things I see both sides. I mean, I can tell you, like, just basically like you just said, managerial, sometimes you got that player that you go, where am I going to stick them? Like you can't hide them, but they want to play. So, but it's just I don't know. I kind of see Jack's side, but I also kind of see Locke's side.
Right. Oh yeah.
And Locke really wanted, Locke really wanted everyone to know, well, I'm not, like you said, I'm not Jack.
I'm not Jack.
I'm doing things differently.
Right.
And then you had Nikki and Paulo go, which was great to see them.
I like Nikki and Paulo. I don't know.
It's just amazing they were able to hide in the background.
Well, but Joel, how do you feel about them? How do you feel about them, Joel?
I was watching this with my girlfriend, and I laughed at the end of their episode, and she's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "You just don't get it. You didn't watch it when everybody else did when it was on. People hated these characters, and it was like, yes, they're gone." But I don't know. It wasn't as grating rewatching it. Like, they didn't bother me as much. Maybe it was because of the time in between episodes.
Yeah.
Right.
That you had to wait. That it was like, who were they? Now we got to waste time on them. But watching it back, it goes so quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with them.
I think when they first came on back in the day, or in their original runs, I think we all just kind of felt like we don't want interlopers in our group, and I'm offended. I just don't want them in there. So I think we were more just about keeping our own group intact, and we were selfish in that way.
I think that's part of it.
In a loving manner, though.
But I also think that I think a lot of us had egos. And we didn't want them to dumb us down.
Yeah.
Because this show has been picked apart scene by scene by scene by scene over and over again. And there was websites dedicated to different screenshots.
Right.
We knew they weren't there.
Right.
So when they popped up and they were supposed to be there the whole time, we're like going, come on.
Yeah, nah.
What were you thinking there? I've always said they should have been in the front of the plane and a different part of the island and came in. I think that they would have been more accepted. But I was like you, Joel. This time it's kind of like, okay, I'm fine with it. It doesn't. I mean, I know they're going to be there, so it doesn't bother me too much that they're there. But anyway, they decide to go, and I like how Nikki goes, and because Paulo goes, "You're going?" He goes, "You're always complaining. You're never invited."
Right now we're invited. Let's go.
Wasn't that when he hid the diamonds in the toilet?
Well, we find in this.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
he's just in the toilet. We don't know. He comes out of it.
We don't know he's done it yet.
Right. He just declares that the toilet works. At this point,
but that
that's
was
all
when
we know.
he did it, though, right? Like,
right. It's in that realm of it. Yeah. Yeah, when we have a flashback of a flashback later on, that kind of happens.
Because they had found that hatch a long time, or they had found that hatch before that.
Right.
They were the first ones to
Right.
find that hatch. They're in their episode just strolling along, finding all the cool stuff that everybody else was struggling to come across.
Hi, Sydney. I see you in the corner there. Hi. We have a.
Oh, I see. Hello,
guest.
Sydney.
Hi.
Yes. If you have a question, just jump in anytime.
Jump in.
I do like, because we see Smoke, again, Echo's kind of, that's where he has he sees Yemi, but he also sees the 3 guys that he killed.
Right. He's in and out of consciousness then.
Right. So that was just him in and out of consciousness. It wasn't the smoke monster, because I know the smoke monster can show images of things from your past that you're thinking about. So we're going to go with your theory, Karen, that he is self-conscious, that it was him.
In other words, here this man's close to death, so maybe he's just, to some regard, just playing parts of his own memory. Is it memory? Is it a flashback? Is it, when you're on that threshold of death and you're just replaying parts of your life in your own consciousness? Could it be some of that? And it could be, I don't know. But these are the things that are touched upon that present itself as this man is now going to leave this plane and go to another plane. So these are the things that are playing back in his mind.
And he was on his way to a plane.
He was, literally. Yeah.
But they did that thing that I don't recall them doing with Smoke Monster, where somebody's talking to the Smoke Monster and then it cuts to a wide shot and the Smoke Monster character is not there. And they did that with that. So maybe that was showing that it was a little bit different than when somebody interacts with somebody as the Smoke Monster.
Right. It had a little bit of a different.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was differences in this particular one. And that's just something to note. And again, maybe in later episodes, it doesn't mean anything because that trend doesn't follow to play out. But in this episode, I found it very interesting that we are seeing a guy in and out of consciousness on the threshold of death, and he's replaying his own life in his consciousness somewhere. So,
but Smokey does run away when Locke and the rest of the gang show up.
He does, yes. He was making an appearance by that group, which was pretty interesting.
Right.
So, if Smokey was there, is he going to Echo or is he going for somebody else?
Oh, when it went up over him when he was looking down in the stream, you mean? When the smoke was above him? Is that what you're talking about?
That was. Now, Echo is conscious at that point when he goes to the stream. So, yeah, he's taking sips of water, and you hear the smoke monster, and you can kind of see the reflection of him. So the smoke monster is there.
And then he looks up and Locke's across the water.
And Locke and everybody's across the water, so.
Okay.
And then they start walking, and then Locke's kind of questioning Echo, and Echo takes what's left of that. Well, I guess it was his stick, slams him up against the wall, tree, and then holds a knife to it. And Sean's like, "Yeah, we're cool. We're cool."
Yeah, but why did he do that? Because John mentions Yemi.
Yeah.
And Echo does not want Yemi's name mentioned. Don't talk about my brother. So he gets very perturbed.
And it wasn't his regular stick. He grabbed one on the way.
Right.
One because they had to go find his stick later.
Yeah, they had to go get what was left of the Jesus stick.
Right.
Then we see in the flashback the warlord comes to visit Echo, and he goes, "Yeah, I have this thing about killing a priest or a man of God, but I'm just going to chop off your hands."
Right.
And that didn't go well. That didn't go well for the warlord.
Right. Exactly. So again, Echo had to do what he had to do. Yeah.
But when he came out, that same woman who I talked about earlier did questions. Well, now we have to.
Right.
She was judging him. She says, "You have blood on your hands."
Right. That was Amina. Her name is Amina.
Amina?
Yeah. Amina. Yeah.
And she said something about, I think she says, was it her that said you're going to owe your brother a church?
Right.
So now we know why he was building the church on the island.
Right. I mean, Echo tried to, when it's almost like when he got to the island, he realized the ways of his past. And he did probably carry guilt that his brother got killed. that, his brother gets killed, the drug plane ends up on the same island as him. And then you realize that he did always want redemption and to make good. Hence why he went on his, 40 days of not speaking. And he started to build the church. That was his way of finding redemption, forgiveness, so that he can let that past go.
And it was on his terms too, not like just because somebody told him he needed to.
Right.
But, these are the rules, so you got to do it. He's like, no, I actually want to do these things, and he wanted to make it up to you. Maybe it was just about Yemi, really.
Right.
It could be.
But at least they answered at least they answered for sure why he was building the church.
Yes.
I mean, they answered that question, which was great. Cindy says, when watching this episode on the rewatch, I was taking the info from the last season, the smoke monster being Jacob's brother, and trying to figure out what he was figuring, which of the passengers would be the vessel for the comeback.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it had to be Locke. Right? Well, we find out too
yeah, for sure. I thought it could have possibly, at this point, I thought it could have been Echo. Looking back on it, it's like it could have been. Who knows where they had his character playing out? I think he could have been Locke.
Obviously, Echo was going to be more important.
Yeah.
Towards the end, but again, he didn't.
And Jack was the man of science, right?
Right.
And what would you call Mr. Echo?
Man of faith.
Man of faith, yeah.
Yep. A little stronger than Locke.
Yeah.
In terms of the literal definition of faith. I mean, in the more religious definition of faith.
Well, but he was also more confident. I mean, he didn't waver, whereas Locke wavered with his faith. He was always, into season 2, he's lost. The pushing the button was a waste of time. Echo says, no, it's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of time. So Echo was, like you said, was more committed over.
So do you think that opens up Locke for the Man in Black? Him being wavering on that kind of stuff to where he's not fully confident, to where he would end up putting himself in a position where he could be the vessel? Well,
I think Smoke Monster, when they went on the hunting for boards, it was Michael, Kate, and Locke. Mm-hmm. And they thought Locke died because the Smoke Monster went to him. And Locke said, oh, no, it was beautiful. Everything I saw was beautiful. Whereas Echo said in the episode,
that's not what I saw.
That's not what I saw.
Yeah.
So I think the Smoke Monster is able to scan people and figure out. He goes, okay, I got a sucker here. I got someone.
Could it be that if we're going to use the Smoke Monster as this scanning judge type thing, is it just really? What if the Smoke Monster is really just a reflection of the person? If
you mean like physically, like what they see is a reflection of them?
What if, and I'm just tossing this out there, what if the Smoke Monster is just really there showing them a mirror image or mirroring back their lives just so they can see in a reflection their life, their past, their fears, what if it's something like that?
I don't think Locke would have looked at himself and thought bright light. His past was so damaged.
Right.
Yes, you are right. He is absolutely, Joel, you're right. He was damaged, and he was a lost soul, literally. And you are correct. But he also did have hope. So I don't know. Maybe there's a part of that. But if he had to claim the vessel, John would be the one, I guess, because
like Joel's saying, because that's something I really never thought about when Locke says what I saw was beautiful.
Right.
What in his life was beautiful? Because every time we see a flashback, it's terrible.
It's horrible.
Helen's leaving him. His dad is stealing his kidney and pushing him out a window. His mom.
So what did he see? That's the big question. If he knew what he saw,
right? Maybe he saw just hope.
Maybe did he see something? Did he see something? Did the Smoke Monster show him something that maybe wasn't true, but maybe Locke believed it was going to happen because he was such a big believer. Okay, obviously he got to walk again.
Right.
That's a big deal. But what am I trying to say here? Did they show him something where Locke is kind of gullible and say, okay, here, you're going to be king of the island or something like that.
Okay.
You're going to be.
What if?
I was thinking maybe they showed him the source, like something to do with like the light. Yeah.
I was just going to say that. What if he saw the heart of the island, the light, the source, the center, and that's what he saw, and it was beautiful, and that's where
it helped create the smoke monster, so it's not like he wouldn't have access to that potentially, you know.
But that is
if he could emulate other stuff,
right?
Sorry,
and when you are right, but you are right.
Yeah, I never thought about that. It's a good point.
No, because the brightness of the island we may not see till season 6, okay, but it is the bright light, the heart, the center of the island, and that's the thing that.
And Locke has said,
what he saw.
And Locke has said a few times, "I've looked into the heart of the island."
In the eye of the
island. So that's
right.
That has to be what it is. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Good.
So that connection of the center, and like Joel says, that you know, where we do get a literal image of that would come from.
And was Echo drinking out of the stream that Jacob and Jack and all them drank out of? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sydney said Echo and Locke were the guys with faith, but Echo's journey was ending. Locke's was still on the path.
Right. I absolutely agree, Sydney. This is why when we're here at this place with Echo, again, I'll use the word planes. He's going to leave. His path is done. His path is done. So he's ready to move on. As a matter of fact, in one of his flashes, remember, you know, when we get to season 6, we hear words like, I need to go home. I'm home. So in this episode, one of the soldiers says to Echo in his flash, "You're home, father." So at this point, Echo's just about done with the island adventure. Right. And now he'll move on from that, and he'll be whatever home is to.
It's crazy to me how they didn't see that they were shooting at priests, that everybody dressed up like priests, and then they shoot one who goes like this and then gets shot and then gets lowered on the plane, and then they're like, "Okay, father, you're good." Like he wasn't part of it.
Right.
When they pulled out on Echo.
You can only kill one. You can only kill one priest.
One priest.
He's lucky he cut the braids and just had the regular haircut, because if he had his braids in still, they would have been like,
that's crazy. With Sydney also, when Sydney here is mentioning that they're on their journey, because you know how I love to use the words adventure and journey when we talk about this story. And so here Echoes is ending. Locke's is not. I completely agree with that. That doesn't happen till much later. But this is a reflection right here of when Christian tells Jack in season 6 in the finale that some died before you, some after. Okay, everybody's journey moves them to the next thing, right? Level, plane, whatever, at different times.
I think for the sake of the show Lost, it has to be plane.
Yeah.
Well, you know, pun intended.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I do
went from plane to plane to plane.
It did. Well, Cindy was saying how Locke's journey is still going on. He'd regained his faith when he saved Echo. I think he regained, you know, his man of faith part with it, because he was done. He had lost, you know, all faith.
Well, he found a new purpose and a new
right.
What he thought was something he needed to do. So, you know, everybody needs a reason to keep going and to have hope and go on. So.
And then we find out that Nikki is smarter than Locke.
Oh, right.
Why didn't we use? I remember when a lot of people were upset with that scene when it came out. They said, "Are we just trying to give her stuff to, you know, make her seem important?" I remember that being a big deal back way in the day.
Well, sometimes people have to point out the obvious sometimes, you know.
Right. It's like, okay, this person you just threw upon us, now she's smarter than Locke. Saeed didn't figure it out. No, they're all sitting there with all these monitors and no one thought to look at the other monitors.
Well, that's the whole point.
Why did they stop after the McHale one? There's still other ones. They said there were 6 stations.
Yeah.
Why did they just stop when they saw McHale? Like, let's see what other things are going on in other places. They might have seen Jack and them in the Hydra.
They don't do that on Lost, though.
Right.
But we, like you said, we see Patchy, we see Mikhail for the first time, and we're like, who is that?
Yeah,
Who's that
was
guy?
Awesome. That was awesome.
Great, another great character that Lost brought to the show. Then we find out the toilet still works because, like you said, he's hiding the diamonds, but Apollo, he's in there using the restroom.
Right, he's using the restroom. He got to go. But what's the video that Nikki is watching at this point when she discovers the video? I'm Dr. Mark Wickman, and now he's introducing the orientation video to the Pearl Station, station number 5.
Right.
And it specifically says where participants could be observed and recorded. So we know that that's the whole layout of that. But Dr. Mark Wickman, he's already been presented to us under a different name, Marvin Candle, previously. Right. So now we're like, whoa, this dude's just changing names.
Candle
what's going on
Wickman.
with that? Right. What's going on here? So pretty cool to see that. Why would this man present himself as something different? We know it's the same guy. So basically the people at different stations don't know about the other videos. So they kept isolated.
Right.
So they're kept totally isolated, but always being observed, always watching. And of course, the line that I love, and I've talked about this before, Jack, that one of my favorite lines that encompasses what we need to do when we're watching Lost is this quote: "Careful observation is the only key to true and complete awareness." And that comes from Karen DeGroot. So it's heard in the background while they're working on the wires and everything in this video.
And then we have Juliet comes in with a video, and she wants Jack to watch. Was it Kill a Mockingbird?
Yes.
And I don't want to watch it. I don't want your stupid movie. I don't want, Jack's like this. And just, no, Jack, no. But it turns out it's a video of Juliet telling her to ignore everything she's saying. And she wants Jack to kill Ben.
Right. With her words physically to him, because they know that they're being observed and recorded, right? Because every station observes and records. So with her actual physical self, she's telling him that you really need to help Ben, and he's a great man, and he just help him, and blah, 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 blah. Yet her cue cards are totally contradicting everything that's coming out of her mouth. So we have 2 Juliets with 2 sets of dialogue. Totally awesome.
Wouldn't she going a little overboard? Wouldn't Ben, if he was watching that, know that she doesn't believe that Ben is a great man?
Yeah, but she's selling for him. I think it would be her showing that she's a team player. I mean, look at all the awful stuff that he did to put her in her place.
Right.
Yeah, she should be. I don't think he cares if you're scared of him or if you love him. As long as you're loyal and doing his bidding, I think that's all he cares about.
I mean, he's the manipulator. He's the liar and a manipulator. But yet you have to kind of outthink the manipulator in some ways. So she took a chance, But still, if you're Jack and you're stubborn, which of the 2 dialogues of Juliet's are you really going to believe?
Oh, definitely the second one. But with Jack, we know that he didn't kill Ben because obviously Ben made it to the end. Would he have, knowing Jack as a surgeon, would Jack have ever killed Ben?
No, it's against the code.
Yeah. There's no chance he would he would shoot him.
Right, if there was an altercation.
But just not in surgery.
No,
right, not in surgery. No, because that goes against his that I think that Jack took his being a doctor very seriously.
Right.
He'll cut a sack, but he won't kill you.
He'll let you bleed for a while, but he
you can bleed. You have like an hour to bleed, and then I'll stitch you back up. But
it's a long time to bleed. An hour? It seems like you'd run out of blood.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert on that part of the body, so. But I agreed with you. It's like an hour.
An hour.
But wasn't it more of a bluff? Don't find out it was more of a bluff.
Well, no, he wanted to make sure that Kate and Sawyer escaped. Wasn't that?
I know,
Ben?
but Locke was. I don't think Ben was ever in danger.
No, I don't think so either.
And then I thought it was a great scene. We go back to the Pearl Hatch, and they hear the smoke monster.
Yes.
Well, I forgot to mention that Echo tells Yemi he didn't sin.
Okay, when they're in the flowers.
Right.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think he was being. He thinks that he's going to give his confession to his brother in a way, or because the episode starts off with confess, 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 because when he was a child he stole food to feed his brother.
Right.
So now here again he thinks he's going to give his confession to his ghost brother or whatever's happening here, and but he really doesn't feel he has anything to confess because he
did what he had to.
He lived his life with a clear conscience. Anything he did for his purpose was for the greater good of whatever needed to be in his survival of his brother, survival of circumstance. So I thought that was pretty amazing. I did love the flowers. I totally loved it. But the key part of that is, Echo kneels and things like that. But Yemi does say to him, "You speak to me as if I were your brother."
Right.
So we can't deny this is something else.
That had to be the smoke monster at that point.
Yeah.
And Echo says, "Who are you?" So, and then Yemi walks away. Echo tries to find him, and then the Smokey's right in front of him.
And but then in the scene, you have right when Locke hears the smoke, both him inside and Desmond take off running.
Right. They hear
I thought it was a great scene. Okay, they're running. They know that Echo's in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So they go running to it, but it's too late. Echo's laying there. He's badly injured, but he whispers to John. He told John, because Syed said, "What did he say?" And he goes, "We're next." Boom. And that was the end of the episode. So overall, what do we think of the episode?
I loved the episode. I thought Echo had a good send-off,
If he had to go, they did it pretty perfectly. I didn't want the character to leave, but all things considered, they wrapped up the story pretty sufficiently and made everything make sense to why he would, balk in the face of the smoke monster telling him to confess, and gave a good reason for him to want to be judged to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a nice way to just stand up to the authority of it, to go, no, sorry.
And
sorry,
like
not
said,
sorry, basically.
It was a great send-off. And because usually when you have an actor who's leaving a show, there's friction there. But I think the writers realize, okay, he's popular.
Mm-hmm.
We have to we can't just say, okay, he died, he got, right. And just say, the heck with him. He wanted to leave. We don't care. I think they realize, okay, he's extremely popular with the fans. We have to give him the right send off.
And it was beautiful. And it totally kept in what the island adventure is about getting, you're on this island and you need to find yourself. You need to let go of your past. You need to let go of things you've done. You need to find your own center and your own light again. And you need to move on from that. So I thought it depicted it very lovely. Shades of red too.
Yeah, I agree. It was a great episode. Again, not one you want to see. Didn't want to see Echo go, but if he had to go, that was the right way to do it. Now we move on to I Do. Taco night. So
Taco night.
Probably one of my least favorite flashbacks. Kind of, but then I was trying to think, because I really noticed something in this episode, and I've noticed it before, and I'm trying to say this without sounding sexist. Evangeline Lilly is an attractive woman anyway. She's an attractive woman anyway, but she's really attractive in this episode, and I think it's because they did it on purpose, because it's the one time she's truly happy, if that makes sense. She had like a glow to her or something like that.
She was very
happy is attractive.
Right.
Yeah.
She was very feminine in this episode, We got to see her in makeup and her hair down and wear
Right.
regular clothes and be a blushing bride. So we got to
Right.
see her be very feminine, very human. Nonetheless, she was still always a person on the run.
Right. So I was trying to say that without saying it. You know, I didn't want people to. You
No,
know.
you're right.
She wasn't the worst the entire episode.
Okay, Kate is Joel's. No, Kate is to Joel what Ana Lucia is to Karen. So
No, she was the worst.
During the episode, were you guys wondering? God, I wonder if Evangeline Lilly and Nathan Fillion had kids. How good looking would their kids be?
Stop it! Right? Oh my God!
I couldn't help it the whole time thinking they would have great looking kids.
They would. They really would.
He's just ridiculously charismatic. It's great to see him on there.
Yeah.
When she opened the door, and I don't remember what he said. He was just like, "So," like it was just like, "Okay, I'm glad he's on the show."
Yeah.
He said you want to make out or something like that. Something.
You
like
want to get it on?
Get it on. That's what it is. Yeah, you want to get it on. I couldn't help but think that the whole time, going, God, they would have great looking kids.
But she was very beautiful in this episode. Very, like I said, feminine. Very, very what you would want, you know, your partner in your life to be as a you know, and it made perfect sense. Again, we're seeing a complete dichotomy of what we know Kate to be on the island.
Now I'm trying to remember back when the Oceanic 6 when they get off the island, they're in the press. Everyone worldwide knows about the Oceanic 6. They're very famous. Did Kevin ever try to get in contact with Kate, or did Kate ever try to contact Kevin? I mean, she left. She drugged him, and I'm just getting way ahead of the episode. It just seems odd that she really loved him. She truly was. She was happy. I mean, probably more than she was ever with Jack or Sawyer, to be honest with you.
Right. And it was the most normal life she could have. The most.
Yeah, it seemed more
normal.
pure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think that Kevin be sitting there, you know?
Hey, I know that girl when she's on the news. Hey,
well,
I know her.
the last memory is of me having this, was it tea or lemonade or whatever it was, and you drugged me and I passed out, and they obviously were both madly in love. I just think that, I mean, I'm not looking too deep into this. I think someone would have contacted someone, said, "Hey,
I don't think you can look too deep into Lost. I think you're good." I don't know. Maybe he was hurt by it.
Yeah.
Maybe he was hurt by it and like scorned on the whole, soured on the whole thing, or found out who she actually was and was like, "Holy crap, she murdered her father," or whatever. And
but I loved her.
Got over it. But yeah, that'd be a tough one to let go of.
She didn't have to worry about the marshal anymore because, the marshal's dead. So why couldn't they just go back to
him? It was after her, right? Like, wouldn't there have been other people in the agency, in the FBI that would be after her too?
You would think so, but the marshal was the one that was the most obsessed with her.
Okay.
Right. I mean,
he did act like he could allow her to stay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to chase you anymore just because you asked.
Yeah, because she has the timer. She has the timer.
Yeah.
They're tracing the call. But I've said this 1,000 times, that there was something more between the marshal and Kate. He was too obsessed with her. There was something they never showed us, that maybe he loved Kate. I don't know.
Or he loved justice.
No. Anyway, going on to the episode, we got Sawyer. He's bored. He's losing. I mean, it's got to be hard. You're, breaking rocks all day and sitting in a cage, right?
Well, if you worked with rocks, would you really want to go home and play with rocks too? I mean,
well, I guess that's all you know. That's all you have, right? He didn't want a fish biscuit. Kate says, "Give me a fish biscuit." I know what you're trying to do, Freckles. Leave me alone.
Right.
Then we have the Jack tells Ben he's going to die. You're going to die. You're going to die, Ben.
That's it.
Yeah.
Jack is not going to help him. He does not want to help him. He doesn't care.
Nope. Kate is now Monica. Forgot to mention that. She's now Monica. You like her better as Monica or Kate?
Oh, come on. Like there's any comparison. Monica, for sure.
We like normal people.
Yeah.
Sane, normal, regular people.
Well, after they decide they're going to bury. Locke says, "We're going to bury Echo here." He goes, "Oh, I'll go back and get the shovel." Saeed goes, "Oh, no. I'll go with you." So Saeed doesn't trust Locke. Locke tells that the smoke monster. So Saeed didn't know about the smoke monster?
Apparently
I don't know
not.
if he's seen it. Seen it. He heard it in the
heard it.
first couple episodes.
Right. He saw the trees being destroyed.
But here's the thing with
Yeah.
Saeed. Saeed says, "I only believe in what I can see." Okay, he says it in this episode.
That's
and
true.
If you go back to season 1, when Walt appears in the jungle, but we know the smoke monster was around and whispers were happening, he saw Walt, but he didn't. It wasn't part of the. He didn't see the smoke monster. That was not part of that. So for Saeed, he's such a logical, person. Especially because of what he does for a living and everything. It has to be in logistics and what is in front of me, what can I see? So that's all he's going to believe in. He didn't never have to see the smoke monster at that point because it wasn't necessary. The smoke monster wasn't for him at that point in the story.
Did you buy Locke's reasoning for wanting to bury Echo out there?
Well, everybody saw too many funerals.
It almost seemed.
Or do you think it was just like, I want to keep going? I want to go back and
it could have been that, but I almost felt it was genuine.
Okay.
That he wants to spare everybody?
Because Locke is now the leader. Jack is gone, Sawyer is gone, and he's like we talked about in the last episode, he's setting new rules as far as who can go and who not. So I think Locke at that point was making the right decision.
Management calls. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And who was Echo? Was Echo close to anybody that was left?
Not really. Not closely, no.
No.
So
Echo didn't get close to anybody when you really think about it.
Right.
He had these little conversations. He blessed baby Aaron, but he wasn't close to anybody really. He did his own thing. He was building a church. Charlie brought him a couple of pallets, stuff like that. But we didn't see him become really bonded to anybody in that way.
Well, I guess Charlie and him were fairly close, I guess.
You could make a case for her, but she's gone.
She's gone, yeah.
By the time they were even on speaking terms, she was getting killed. So, after he came out of his, but still, there wasn't like you would say that some of our other castaways have bonds with each other. Like Charlie and Hurley were close. We have other bonds, but I don't know. So maybe Locke was just being genuine and saying they've all seen too much death recently and too many funerals.
Yeah, and I'm the least likely person to defend Locke, but I'm going to defend him on that one. I think he was being genuine. I think he was doing what was right for the people at the time. Maybe just because you can only handle so much death, right?
You can't. That's true, but he also wanted to get through whatever the next step was. He's like,
exactly, yeah. So he probably had two things on his mind, I guess.
Right, but yeah, that's good, sparing everybody.
Well, we have Kate and Sawyer are digging breaking the rocks down, and Alex comes in and wants to know where he's at. Now we know she's talking about Carl. She doesn't mention Carl, but we know she's talking about Carl. What did you do with him? Where is he at? She's got her slingshot, her wrist rocket.
Sally slingshot.
Yeah. So what do we think of Alex at this point?
Did we know she was that Alex at that point? Like I forget when that was all figured out as you were watching.
I thought it was figured out when
the first time
they did another take of Kate being kidnapped.
Well, here's
the hunting party.
I was going to say we know Alex is around, and we know Alex is probably part of Rousseau, the daughter, because we already didn't we have that episode? We had that episode already,
right?
Where they go to the medical station, and then they. Claire tells a story that an Alex tried to rescue her and get her out of there.
Okay.
So we do know who Alex is, but I don't believe we know that at this point Ben is what she's going to refer to as her father.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ben does mention her towards the end.
Right.
Says,
we
did Alex ask for me? And Juliet says no.
Right. So we learn in just a bit that they're father and daughter.
Right. Juliet wants Kate to go with her. She says, I'm not going with you. Why would I go with you? I got to put that bag over my head. It's going to mess up my hair. I'm not going with you. And then
Bill has joined us, by the way. Hi, Bill.
Oh, hi, Bill. He said, I figured he survived. He figured he survived her once. Don't take a chance. I think he's talking about Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. Good point, Bill.
Consider himself lucky. He got to only see the normal side of Kate, and he got away with it. All the worst he got was drugged and fell asleep. So I made out pretty well.
Because we are going to touch back on Kate's Flash persona. Is we talk about her being feminine and real and attractive and all those other things, and but when we get Kate's flashes, it's important to note too, though, was it genuinely her living an authentic, real, normal life, or was she pretending so that she can escape the Kate that she really is, the murderer? Kate.
I don't think she was pretending.
Okay.
I feel like she was all in, and right up until the moment. How bad does that guy feel about getting the tickets to Costa Rica or whatever? Without that, they're golden. Yeah, if they just stay put, in theory, you know what I mean. They would have lasted longer.
Right.
I think she was in. I think she didn't have to fake the stuff with the mother-in-law. And
she
go
really
through
loved
the marriage.
She did.
The marriage didn't play into an end game for her. It didn't seem like, it wasn't like, if I get married, then I can stay. It was just the natural progression of things. I think she was genuine there, just not her real name.
I agree 100%. She was happy. She was.
Yeah. And she did love the mother-in-law too. She felt like she was part of a family, I guess, again.
Mother-in-law loved her. So it was like, her own mother wasn't a very good mom to her. So
maybe she was just in it for the mother-in-law.
But the only reason going back to Juliet taking Kate, the only reason she goes is because Juliet knows that, if you want to save Sawyer, you have to do what you have to do. So she goes and then she goes and Juliet brings to Jack, and Kate's trying to talk to, do the surgery, but they're going to kill Sawyer. They're going to do this. You got to do it, Jack. And Jack's like, nah, I'm not.
Yeah, if you want Jack to do something, do not tell him to do it. He'll never do it.
Because you see
He's a stubborn teenager.
Jack's face when he sees Kate is like when Kate sees Kevin.
Right. Well, Jack's in love with her. Jack does love her. Yeah.
Yeah. And like you're saying, Joel, you're gonna throw Sawyer in my face. I gotta save him again. I gotta save him.
We're done here. Get out. Yep, we're done. Get out.
but I thought it was great at acting by Matt. His face was just like, oh, the love of my life just walked into the room.
Yeah.
And then asked to save the other love of her life.
Then we go and Kate's shopping, and it's taco night, which became
a thing.
Now, is that the first time that we ever heard taco night? Because I know it's a big deal now.
I think it's the first time I heard taco night. Well, and then we hear, don't we hear Taco Tuesday in a couple of
Taco Tuesday, later? Yeah.
That comes later with Hurley or something, but or one of the episodes with Hurley. But that was the first time I heard about tacos being a thing.
Right. I mean, I love tacos, but I just never said, hey, it's taco night. It's like,
who doesn't love a taco? I mean, really.
Yeah. So.
This monster doesn't like tacos.
Yeah. If you're in the chat and don't like tacos, leave now. We're not going to
get out. Just leave.
But Kate does call the marshal. She puts the egg timer on there, and this is where, like you said, Joel, she's in. She, can you stop chasing me? I found someone I love. He's good for me. I love him. And he's like, nah, I can do that, Kate. Nope. I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, he plays with her emotions though for a second there, which
right, he does. Happy. Yeah, and so Kate knows.
He said he would stop if she stayed.
Yeah.
Because she did stay for a bit, and he didn't seem to come after her. Not that he knew exactly where she was because of the egg timer, but maybe he didn't stop.
If he knew where she was, he would have gone. He would have gone for her. He went all the way to Australia for her. Right? So he's going to go. They were in Miami, right? Or somewhere in Florida.
Miami. Yeah, in Miami. And it's interesting that in that conversation that they have on the telly there, that he brings up that she has been quiet for a couple of the religious holidays or something to that effect. And it's interesting that she called on the Feast of the Ascension. So I'm like, okay, Ascension. Is Kate trying to go to her next level, but she can't do it. She just can't do it.
Poor Kate.
She's stuck.
No, poor Kate. Poor Kate.
If only she had. But I had no issues with her blowing up her dad. I'm sorry. It didn't bother.
But then again, she did that for her. She thought she did it for her mother.
Right.
But like her mother said, I didn't ask you to do that. I was fine with the way things were and everything. You did that for you.
But why do you think she did it for her and not her mom? Because it seemed like she didn't like the way the guy treated her mom.
Right. But that's what the mom says. Yeah.
But I also think that the dad did something to Kate, and Kate never admitted to it.
That could be because she was very creeped out by him.
Yeah, I mean, he makes the day when she kills him, blows him up. He's talking about her in a way that is not a father-daughter type conversation. Right. So I always believed that he did more to Kate than they told us.
Right.
So
do you think the mom would have supported it a little bit more if she had known that?
I think that there's a lot of moms out there that do know and don't do anything. And so
maybe not. No,
I just think she was in. I don't know. Well, of course, we don't know if it's true or not. I mean, it's just a theory, but it depends. I guess it depends. There's some moms who would kill the husband. Other moms would just look the other way. So it just depends on the situation, I guess.
But for Kate to commit this murder, she did feel that she was doing the right thing by eliminating him completely. So,
but isn't it almost like Echo?
Well, yeah, you're doing it you're justifying it because you're doing it to protect somebody, you know. So it is that whole train of thought about why you're doing it, to survive, to protect. I
mean, we just can't do that in society. We can't just
willy-nilly go killing people.
Right. Yeah. We can't all be Charles Bronson. But I don't know. It's almost the same. We're judging Kate, but Echo did the same thing.
Yeah, he did.
But that's not why I judge Kate. That's the last on the list of reasons to hate Kate.
I'm just trying to help Kate out here. I'm just trying to make a case for Kate. Go back to Echo, and they're burying Echo, and John has the Jesus stick. He's sitting in, and he looks and he sees the words "Lift your eyes and look up, look north."
Right, John specifically. John.
Right.
Lift up your eyes and look north, John. Something.
And John's like going, I don't have my compass.
There's my sign.
I gave my compass to someone else, and it doesn't work on the island anyway.
Right. And of course, that was already something that was prefaced in the episode Further Instructions.
Right.
So that I love how those things come back to present themselves again.
And we go back to Joel's favorite character, Kate. She climbs out of the cage. And Sawyer's like, "Go back, Freckles! Go back! Go back! Go back!" And Kate and Sawyer, it stops. We go back to the flashback, and that brings up the Costa Rica tickets. And Kevin's all excited. Kate's like, "My passport, that might be a problem."
Yeah, she made a face immediately, and he was like, "What? What, do you not like Costa Rica, or?"
I heard it's a beautiful island.
Can't we just go to Orlando? It's close by. Tampa, something like that. But no, she does, because she can't get a passport, right?
She can't,
because they fingerprint you.
Whoa, though. Oh, okay. I was going to say, because she's not Kate at this point. If she's
Monica, I think
I'm
pretty sure I got
identity as Monica. She should be able to get
I got
passport,
fingerprinted when I had a passport. I mean,
it just seems like she'd know a good ID bootlegger at this point.
Yeah, that's true. You think
somebody had to make her documents, her paperwork valid as Monica, right? In order to get married, you got to have a license, marriage certificate and all that. Presumably she has an ID saying she's Monica.
Do you have to have a birth certificate or just have ID? I can't. It's been so long since I got married. I don't
She
remember.
seems like the type that would be diligent enough in it to go, or thorough enough to say, I need all my paperwork.
All right, so we're going to say lazy writing on this one. That Kate didn't have to leave. She could have went to Costa Rica.
She probably could have. Yeah. It would have been risky because they could have had like wanted posters or, something where she could have been recognized.
Right.
But now, is this at the point too when Kate suspects she may be pregnant with Kevin's child? Right? Because that's in this episode.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But lo and behold, she is not.
No.
Did she take a Widmore pregnancy test?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a Widmore pregnancy test?
I believe it was.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me look at my notes. As you talk, I'll look at my notes and see if it shows.
She's going to look in Karen's lost notes.
That's where I'm getting my notes right now from. I literally am on my website looking at my own stuff.
Well, Kate and Sawyer before we get the flashback, they had their little thing going on. And of course it's being recorded and all that stuff. And then Jack hears something in the broken intercom. So, and was that Alex's voice?
Sounds like Alex. To me, it sounded like Alex.
The door is open. Jack goes, he finds some guns, and then he sees Sawyer and Kate together and just freezes. He's like,
on the monitor, yeah.
Yeah. What am I doing here? What am I doing here?
That felt like a setup for him to see it.
Right.
But why would Alex have any part in that?
Unless Ben said, look, you say this to Jack, I'll let you know where Carl's at.
Okay. Yeah, I could go for that.
I mean, we didn't see it, but like you're saying, why? Because it definitely, I definitely believe it was
to manipulate Jack.
Right.
For sure.
So that's what I'm thinking, that because why did they have Alex in the first place in this episode going on about, well, it wasn't Carl, but we know it's Carl. So I think that's what it was. I think they said, okay, you do this, we'll let Carl go.
Well, they tried to put fear into Kate when Alex came out screaming, yelling with her slingshot. She says, they're going to kill your boyfriend like they killed mine. So that was just to incite some fear in Kate. Like, oh my God, they're going to kill Sawyer.
I forgot about that.
Again, that's another manipulation because Carl's not dead. So, so manipulation is happening all over the place. But this manipulation works because now it motivates Jack to say, okay, get the OR ready. I'm doing it. I'll get your tumor out.
Yeah, because he points a gun at him.
Why would that make him want to do the surgery?
Because he wants to leave the island.
He wants to leave. That's
okay. Because he's over it with Kate at this point because he sees her and Sawyer. Yeah, because
I think the only reason keeping him is because, like we said earlier, he's in love with Kate. He loves her. She drives him crazy, but he's in love with her. And I think when he sees him with Sawyer, he thinks, okay, I've lost. She chose Sawyer.
Right. So let me just save Ben and then get my ticket off the island. And I'm done.
I can get out of here.
Yeah.
And then because Jack says, I'll do the surgery tomorrow. We go back. Kate tells her husband she's on the run, tells her, he's like, what are you talking about?
She slipped him a Mickey.
I don't feel good.
She slipped him a Mickey.
And he passes out. I'm like, oh, Kate, you loved him. You loved him, Kate.
She kept him from hitting his head on the table as he fell. She
that was
him
nice.
over him a little bit. But that was still Monica. I'm not giving Kate any credit. Monica gets bonus
The
points.
bottom line is she does admit, I can't do taco night. That was her last straw.
Yeah.
I can't do taco night.
Because he said it's something that maybe she wasn't a good cook because she made something, and he goes, "You made it." It was something I thought hinted that she wasn't a good cook. I mean, it's hard to mess up tacos. That's the best thing about tacos. It's really hard to mess them up. I mean, it can be done, but Then we're doing the surgery and everything's going on. You got Pickett is going to kill Sawyer. This whole thing's going on. Don't you do it? Stand up. Stand up. He's doing this back and forth. And
man, when they cut to that wide shot, like with the trees, and you saw Sawyer on his knees in the middle, I'm like, man, that is like the wide shot of somebody about to get executed.
Right.
I thought he was going to get killed then.
I've seen it a bunch of times, and I thought it just
then.
I'm like, oh crap, this is it. And I was like, oh no, it's not. But
he's such a gentleman that he's like, Kate, look away, because he knows it's coming.
Close your eyes, Freckles.
Close your eyes. Yeah, I thought it was happening, but.
Carol says, my daughter and I still quote that, I don't do taco night. But like you're saying, Joel, it was a great. That was great directing, great cinematography, because it did, like you said, that's
you
the
can just
wide
see
angle
him falling over in that shot.
It was with Kate looking on, and just, oh my God, what's going on? And we find out that Jack was not on Jacob's list, right? Because they say that, but that's of course Ben just talking. Right. And we're like, wait, Jack's list. What? Wait, what?
Is he? Do you think? Question: do you think they're getting Jacob list at this point, or do you think it's just Ben making crap?
No, it's just Ben.
Ben's manipulating
because Jacob doesn't.
Because Alpert was involved somehow, right? And Alpert could have been talking to Jacob and getting lists, but I don't know. It seems like it's just something he was making up because he knows about the concept of Jacob's list,
right? Which
is a thing.
I think it was a Ben thing.
Yeah.
It was Ben manipulating his people to follow him blindly. Cindy said, that's when I knew Kate could not be trusted.
When she didn't like tacos?
Yeah, it doesn't do taco night. And I think that's why, is that why you don't like her? Is
that my issue with her?
Yeah.
She doesn't do tacos?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
No. No.
What is it to tell?
Just, I can't even. From this episode doesn't do justice to hating Kate.
Yeah.
But watch the rest of the series. It's pretty self-explanatory. She's the worst. She's always difficult.
She doesn't do what she's told ever.
But neither does Jack.
I know.
A lot of these people don't do what they're told to do.
And I'm prone to having that same mindset in life. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah,
if you tell me this, I'm going to look for an alternative.
Locke had one of the best lines in Lost history. Don't tell me what I can't do. Nobody on that show wants to be told what to do. But no, we hate Kate.
That's the one you pick on?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No shame. I have no shame in it. I mean, watch it and tell me. Right. Find a more unlikable character that we're supposed to like.
Ana Lucia. I stand my ground.
Do you think we're supposed to like her, though?
No,
I feel like we're not supposed to.
Yeah, you're right. We are not. I agree.
I don't have time to defend Ana Lucia on this one. You go back and listen. I've defended her.
No. While this is going on, though, Jack, we have the OR scene happening where Jack's, putting Ben under and doing all that. So, you have the anxiety of seeing Jack just about to perform surgery on Ben, who we know he already can't stand, and just thinking, oh my God, this guy's going to really kill Sawyer. Holy cow.
Right.
And is Jack going to kill Ben?
Right. This is so dramatic. It was so
because
intense.
they had set that up in the last episode with, Juliet asking Jack to kill Ben. And then he cuts him. And they, was it the kidney something?
Let me see.
It was kind of crazy that they went from, okay, we're getting Ben prepped for surgery to, okay, he's doing the surgery. Let's go kill Sawyer now. Like during the surgery. They just left.
I think that was more Pickett because Ben was going under pissed. and Pickett wanted revenge and Ben no one was going to stop him because Ben couldn't stop him.
It's just crazy that he couldn't resist. He had the second Ben was out. I'm out of here. I'm going to do the thing I wanted to do.
It was strictly vengeance for Colleen getting killed.
Yeah. I think it was just because if Ben was alive, Ben would not allow him to do it.
Right.
Right.
Unless it was something for them to gain.
So more of a ask for forgiveness, not permission kind of thing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But it's going bang, 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 bang. Like you said, it's going good. And then
intense.
So Jack goes, give me, let me talk to, he goes to Tom. Can you hear me? Yeah. So he comes down and he gets a walkie-talkie, give it to Kate because Pickett's just about ready to shoot Sawyer. And it's like, okay, now we know, okay, Sawyer's going to live. Kate goes, you remember that story I told you? Do you remember that story I told you? Yes, I remember that story you told me. And then he goes through the whole thing. Then he tells the whole thing about, okay, and he said, I don't want to leave you, Jack. I don't want to leave you, Jack. Damn it, Kate, run. And so the whole thing sets up where they're going to have an hour head start, and she's supposed to radio him saying, okay, we're safe now. You can go ahead and sew him up. And so I thought, and then it ends. It's like, no.
Do you remember that being the last episode in like the October run, and then they made us wait till February?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember right when I said, that's right. It ended here. I said, oh, that's what we had to wait like 4 months, whatever it was, to like you said, October to February. I'm like going, that was just cruel.
Yeah.
Give us 6 episodes of Lost and then make us wait. Come on, that's not enough episodes.
It was torture. In this episode, we learned about this is where the first time we're actually questioning who the hell is Jacob.
Right.
Okay. We know Ben had a list back in the first season. Ben had a list and names and everything. This is the first time we're hearing Jacob. So we're all like, who the hell is Jacob now?
Was that the first mention of Jacob?
Yes.
Literally?
Well, I think they talked about him, or they talked about him.
Right.
They never mentioned the name.
Right. Jacob. And now we know there's a man who's in charge that makes lists. So we're just putting the puzzle pieces together at this point going, okay, now we have this other name and this other being that we're like, okay, now we're getting more identity to. He's a list maker.
Right, because Ben was talking about him in the hatch. When Jack or somebody said right. He was talking about Tom. And he's like, oh, the guy with the beard. He's like, him? He's nobody.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't know now. Now we're putting
out. Okay.
Yeah. Now we're putting a name to somebody who is in authority, who has the authority to make lists and send people out on, errands for him or what have you. So I thought that was.
Have we met Alfred at this point?
No.
No,
not yet.
No.
And the other thing that I wanted to kind of point out about this episode was I'm going to bring up the pregnancy scare, and here I'm going to go just my little deep for a second. Island again is life, death, and rebirth, and I've always felt that why we have so much pregnancy story weaved throughout this journey is because that's our cue to rebirth, not necessarily birth itself, literally, but the rebirth of what the island experience is about. So my takeaway from this is while we still see Kate wanting to ascend and go to the next level or what have you, she still can't do it. She's not ready. She's not. So hence she takes the pregnancy test where maybe she's trying to have some clarity about her life and her mistakes and her past and wanting redemption. But the pregnancy test comes out negative, which means at this point in the story, she's not going to experience a rebirth. It doesn't happen yet. So to be fair,
in the same episode, she did hook up with Sawyer.
Right, she did, but we wouldn't know if that was going to come into play. Right. But
that was a theory.
Right, it could be. And we do know later on, like what is it, season 5 or so, she gets another pregnancy scare with Sawyer actually, but she's not. So it's like, for me, I kind of take the pregnancy cues as more as the not literal pregnancies per se, but more about that cue about is this person or the person that the episode is about to experience their rebirth. And most of the times, that's where that cue comes for me. Am I right? Now you're saying I am. No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's a little thing that I kind of picked up.
I can buy that.
Where
would you say Kate was reborn? You think with the Aaron stuff?
At the end, I think, yeah. See, and that's why when we get to season 6, there's so much more clarity on this particular thread of what the story is. It's so much more clear than in season 6 about their rebirths, about their time on the island being done. That when they leave on the plane at the end of season 6, in the end, whoever's on the plane, that may represent that's their rebirth. They're leaving. That's their time to leave now. They're done. their island adventure is done. So that would be their rebirth. And again, right before they leave, that's when the flashes happen, and Aaron is born again. So she's there with Claire again. So
right.
Those birth things happen.
Oh, I was meaning when she played Aaron's mother.
Yeah,
like that's what I was thinking as far as a rebirth for her character. Anyway,
yes, it could.
And Claire was stuck with Squirrel Baby.
Right.
Yeah.
When she became a mother. Right. When she became a mother, that is a form of that, or that nod to here's that bit of rebirth for you. Although she slips back and has to go back to the island and go find Claire and all that stuff. But yes, those nods, I think, are tied to those things. So whether we see a baby literally being born, or the pregnancy test show up, or something like to that effect, there's that little nod of, is a rebirth happening or is it not?
If the pregnancy test would have been positive, would she have stayed?
Well, we might have got a different story out of it then. We may have gotten a different, it would have taken a different path. She probably would.
I was just thinking
she probably would have stayed.
The only rebirth that ever happened in the show was when Claire gave birth to Aaron again when they were doing the flashes.
Well, she had that baby a couple of times.
Yeah.
She had that baby a couple of times.
Do you think the writers gave us because they knew there was going to be a break? They knew this was going to be a cliffhanger. We already had it was one of the pretty darn good cliffhanger, I thought.
Awesome.
But like Sydney said, that was a rough mid-season break. It was terrible. But do you think they gave us the pregnancy test and having Sawyer and Kate having sex to make us think, oh, is Kate going to be pregnant? Because I know that was probably that was a lot of theories out there. Okay, Kate's going to be pregnant with Sawyer's baby.
Yeah.
Jack wants to leave the island. We don't know if he's leaving the show because originally he was supposed to die anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of theories going on around this time because at least that gave us 4 months to theorize.
Right. And
I think if it was just to set that up, just so that people had something to one more thing to theorize during that break.
Right. So overall, what did we think of I Do?
It was probably one of the more tolerable Kate episodes.
The flashback,
Monica greater than sign Kate.
The flashback wasn't that great, but I thought the on island stuff was really, really good.
Yeah,
I thought there's, like you said, some tense scenes there. I thought it was done really well.
Right. I mean, I still love the parallels of when we have our Flash as opposed to what's happening on the island. You see, the Flash, we see what appears to be a free Kate living a life of freedom and stuff like that. But she's really not. She's still tied and pretty much imprisoned herself by what she's going through. So that's why she's always on the run. And here again, on island, they're literally in cages. They're literally trapped in cages. So I love that whole idea, and we always still get those parallels. Again, the pregnancy test, and then having her see relations with Sawyer. Could that have been a thing? So the parallels are there. The stress of do I run? Do I not run? And Jack literally tells her to run at the end of the episode, not for nothing.
Now is Jack telling her to run because he wants to leave the island?
He wants her to run. I think he wants her to be safe because he does want. I think
wouldn't there have been a better way to do it? Saying, okay, before I agree to the surgery, you let Kate and Sawyer go, and I need to know that they're back safe. Then I'll do the surgery.
Right. But
I mean, it's less drama.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Kind of boring.
If people had regular conversations in this world, the show wouldn't be as awesome as it is.
That's true.
Because they would have been like, "Oh yeah, no, that's a fair trade-off. Actually, we'll let your friends go. You do the surgery that I brought you here for. Yeah, no, that works. Handshake, everybody's good. Yeah, no drama."
They let. So is that why Ben let Michael go and Walt go to show Jack that he would keep his word?
I think so. In other words, Ben gives just a little bit for you to believe an illusion.
Right.
Okay, so that's part of his manipulation in his game, is he gives you just enough visual to keep you fooled to some degree.
I don't think he wanted to keep Michael and Walt at that point.
They were a pain in the neck to him, really, not for nothing.
Yeah.
They were really a pain in the neck.
Well, Walt especially, because Walt was more than they could handle.
Right. They
Right.
didn't want any part of him. So
I think he pretended to be reluctantly giving up Michael and Walt,
right.
even though
right.
he was like, "Yeah, no, good, get out of here, go."
Exactly.
I'll
But it was all
get
part
another
of
small boat.
right. But but that is true. I totally agree with you. He was they were painting the next. But if I make it look like I'm letting them go and that they have the freedom to go, and I'm even giving you a boat and a direction to follow, then they're
Right.
going, okay, there is a way to leave, and so he gives them just enough line to kind of keep them with some of that. I have that illusion, that hope that I can leave, but yet he's in control.
Right.
So, But Jack, what do you think of this episode?
Like I said, I love the on-island stuff. The the I do part was like, okay, yeah, I get what's going on.
Yeah.
It was nice to see Kate happy. I'm not a Kate hater. Yes, she can drive you crazy. But you almost wish, okay, but again, I go back to why I overanalyze. Well, why did they hook up, or at least did they talk? I mean, obviously they're truly in love. Almost, you want to say soulmates. They were soulmates, and they never talked again. Why would you give us this episode and then we don't get? I mean, I know Nathan Fillion's a busy guy, but he did Modern Family. I'm sure he would have done one more episode of of Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Kate left a lot of fellas in her wake, though.
She did, but she actually married this guy, and the
other one she was using, like the guy for the bank robbery.
Bank robber. Yeah.
Like this one, there's no like thing that she's striving for here other than happiness and like genuinely liking this person.
Yeah.
Right. But could she ever achieve happiness if she's still holding on to her guilt and her, her own pain and everything? Again, that's why we're at where we're at.
I think if the marshal, if she would have got some kind of clemency or to say, okay, you've been pardoned, I think she lives with Kevin for the rest of her life. And I think she just, because they were happy, they truly loved each other,
and it would have been a beautiful.
She would have had a great time in Costa Rica.
Yeah. And they would have had 3 beautiful kids, and it was just would have been it'd been
gorgeous children.
It'd have been that Barbie and Ken where you go, oh my God, look at that family. They're just too pretty. But but the on-island stuff, I really liked it. Again,
that's a missed opportunity. I don't ever remember Barbie and Ken having babies.
No. Well, there's a reason.
Imagine how beautiful they would have been.
They would have had to adopt. There's a reason for that. If you've seen them, anyway.
I'm on the same page.
But no, I enjoyed both episodes. It was fun to watch, and again, I think you mentioned, Joel, as far as the Kate episode goes, it wasn't terrible. But the on stuff, especially with some of the theories that were going on and the cliffhanger. I can't wait for February. Right. It kind of made you forget that Nikki and Paula were even there. That argument kind of stopped for a while. We didn't bicker about that. We were just talking about, okay, is Kate, does Kate take Sawyer? Can she take? We didn't know. He just said, "Damn it, Kate, run." Yeah. There was no mention of Sawyer there.
It's something important we did forget to mention in this whole episode before we break is this is when we realize they're not even on their own island.
No. That
Sawyer finally admits to Kate, there is nowhere to go. There's nowhere to run. We're on another island, like Alcatraz. So we're still in prison somewhere. So
and Kate goes, "Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted you to still have hope."
Exactly. You have to have a little bit of hope. Is a terrible thing to lose.
Because Ben, I talked about the episode where Ben shows Sawyer where he's at. He completely broke Sawyer at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Sawyer was no longer an issue to run because he was broken.
Where am I going to go? That's it.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at. This is where I am.
Right.
Yeah. So he wanted to, and Jack and Sawyer do always want to protect Kate. They both always want her safe. They want her, she's a pain in the ass and she's going to follow them whatever, and do whatever. But the point is they still genuinely care about her and her well-being and things like that. And not just her physical being, take care of her and keep her safe, but also her psyche. Make sure she's got some hope. Make sure she has something to hold on to.
Well, Jack and Sawyer accept Kate for who she is, and Kate accepts Sawyer and Jack for who they are. So it's not that Jack does not Jack and Sawyer don't see eye to eye, but going back and forth. So
Jack doesn't see eye to eye.
If Kate hadn't been involved, they might have been best friends.
They might, well, but Jack doesn't see eye to eye to anybody. Yeah, that's true. You're like the only friend I've got.
Closest thing I got to a friend. Yeah.
But
really?
But Jack doesn't see eye to eye with anybody.
No.
Well, and Sawyer hadn't met Miles yet at that point.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Anyway, great job. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it was a blast as always.
You guys want to give any information where they can find you? Want to find you? Do you guys want to be found? You want to be like Kate, not be found? I don't know.
No, always, if you want to peruse my old notes on the web, you could check out Karen's Lost Notebook. Still there on Blogspot. All the notes are there. All the crazy is there. You can check it out. And thank you, Jack, again for inviting me, and Joel hanging out. I enjoy both you guys' company so much, and it's a great conversation. I really appreciate it very much.
Yeah, this was fun.
You can find me under Monica. No, Comeuppence everywhere online. I do daily vlogs. We podcasted through Chronologically Lost. If anybody hasn't seen that,
I enjoy your videos, and I enjoy your photography too. Very great. Very good job.
Well, thank you.
I enjoy it very much.
Oh, that's right. You started following. We became friends on Facebook.
Yeah. Very good. Excellent.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
All right. Well, thanks, Monica. That's I think that's a perfect way to end it. Again, thanks for everyone in the chat. We'll be back next week with
Why are you feeling so woozy right now, Jack?
Who, me?
It's because I drugged you.
Oh. Oh, good. I can go to sleep.
Framed and the video.
Everybody stay safe while we're still going through this bit of
That's right. We're on quarantine.
We're on quarantine, literally ourselves. We have to.
I literally this 2 hours talking Lost. I forgot about it.
No, be like Desmond. We're quarantined for a while. It won't be for 3 years though. But just please all be safe and treat each other with kindness and have patience. And no, it will pass. It will pass. Just be safe.
And just be smart out there.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be at a Billie Eilish concert right now with my daughter, and here I am talking with you guys. What I mean by that is this is way better.
Sure.
I figured that's what you meant. But
I was just getting around to it. Just give me a sec.
Anyway,
again, to tell that story.
Again, I was saying before we recorded that the two of you agreed at the last second to come on here, and I just really appreciate that. It's
my pleasure.
Because sometimes my scheduling, I just get confused, and it's just like these episodes are kind of like blurring together now. But again, I appreciate it.
Always talk Lost anytime.
I will absolutely. You can't shut me up apparently. So I'm in.
Well, great job tonight, guys, and again, everyone stay safe, and thanks for everyone who joined us in chat. And we're out of here.
Namaste.
You're ending it.